So hello, good day. So today we are looking at some stationary points. Okay, so stationary points, there are three major points called stationary points. We have the minimum points, the maximum points, and the points of inflection. Okay. So when we have a curve like this, it goes like this. This particular point is called the minimum point. Okay, it's called the minimum point. This is a quadratic curve. That is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Yeah, it is a minimum when this value is is greater than 0. That is a is greater than 0. That's for minimum points. Okay, when it is like this, right? So this is called maximum points. Here, a is less than 0. Okay, a is less than 0 for maximum points here. Okay, so for this one, the point of inflection is like this. Yeah, if you look at this one, you'll see that the slope here is negative, while here the slope is 0, as it is the slope of the target at that point. Then when you now look at this place, you see that the slope is positive, which means before the points, as the point, and after the points, you will see that the the slope is going from negative through 0 to positive, which means it is increasing, right? While if you look at this one, the slope is going from positive, it goes through 0 to negative, which means it is decreasing, right? Okay, but for point of inflection, the slope does not change path, which means there is no change in the direction of the slope. The slope is positive here, it is 0 here, while it is still positive on the other side, right? This could also be drawn like this. The points of inflection could also be drawn like this, where it is negative here, it goes through 0, then negative again, right? So this is also point of inflection. So curves like this, we call them points of inflection. So the major thing we need to understand from this stationary point is that their derivative is equal to 0, which means the YDS of that point at this stationary point is equal to 0. So the YDS is equal to 0 at stationary points. In all the three cases, you can see the slope is 0 here, slope is 0 here, slope is 0 here. Okay? Now, the nature of the curve, whether it is minimum, whether it is maximum, or it's the point of inflection, is now determined by now what happens before and after the point. Okay? So what happens before the point? What happens after the point? If there is a change in the sign, that is, if the ydx in the case of this one, the yds here is negative, then at this point it is 0, then after the point it is positive. So if we find the yds here and we find the yds here, and the sign changes from negative to positive, we know that it's minimum. But if the sign changes from positive to negative, we know it is maximum. Another way to look at this is to, for instance, we know that this change in slope, it goes from negative through 0 to positive. So from negative through 0 to positive, which means it is increasing, right? When something goes from negative to positive, it means it is increasing, right? But for this one, it's going from positive through 0 to negative, which means it is decreasing. If we find the 2y squared of this one, it is going to be positive, right? And then for the maximum, if I find the 2y squared of this one, it's going to be negative. It's going to be negative, right? Okay. Now, for points of inflection, there will not be any change, which means the 2y squared of this one will be 0 for points of inflection in either direction. So it will be 0. So if we have a function, we find it's the y dx, we can find the stationary points. That is, we equate the y dx to 0. Then if it is if we now want to determine the nature of the curve, whether it is minimum or maximum, then we find the 2y dx squared of that curve. And then if it is positive, we know that it is minimum. And if it is negative, we know it is maximum. And if it is 0, we know it is a point of inflection. So this is how we determine, the nature of the curve, whether it is minimum, maximum, or point of inflection. Okay? Thank you. Thank you.